I'm an earthworm woman. In the mornings, I fill my tanks by breathing the energy of the sea and tasting the power of the sun penetrating my skin. There's an air of no care, which comes with age, and I hold my head up proudly, liking who I've become. I'm not afraid of smells, or dirt, or to walk barefoot across the stones. Sometimes I wade through the shallow water just to embrace its fluid element, my hair often crazy and loose, being pulled by and flying in the wind. I can be glamorous if I want to, although makeup was never my thing. And I've learnt that life is for living, not fearing, and so I absorb it like a sponge. Grand rising to everyone, women, men, everyone, dogs. I've got a dog over here who's snoring, so if you can hear that, hopefully you can't hear it. But I just want to say, yep, that's what I want to say. Hello. Today I'm going to just be talking with a woman called Jess. Well, she's going to be coming on the show. Who she's kind of been just someone who's been in my atmosphere since probably way at the beginning, mostly through Instagram. I remember seeing her, what she was putting up was always really powerful and very much, very brave. And, and so I asked her to come on because I think I saw something recently that she posted, and I thought, wow, what's going on I feel is going on at the moment, and it's not anti anyone, not anti men, not anti anyone else. It's just I feel that women specifically, and not all, of course, are kind of just stepping back a bit and feeling rather than reacting, rather than having to constantly be vocal. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just got my own perception. I'm going to bring Jess on anyway because then she can talk about it as well. So here she is, Jess Scarlett. It's a great name you have, number one.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
I just want to say, we talked just briefly before about what we were going to talk about, and it was like we don't know yet. But the reason I sort of, as I said, approached you as well is because I think we're sisters. You know, there's a lot of sisters out there now who are connecting without even knowing. I've never met you. This is the first time I've had a face, any face to face with you. And I think it's really important that we keep that connection when we build it. And so I just wrote this before, and I want to know about how we as women specifically are feeling at the moment with all this chaos like we talked about. And you had a quote that you brought up the other day. I'll be quiet in a sec. It was and at the end of it, it was sort of stuff like breaking the generational curses and shifting the ancestral karma, and at the end of it, it says walk with women who get it and get you. So there we go. That's an introduction to you.
Thank you. I'm honored to know that you follow my Instagram. I was very rebellious. It was a tough time. My son had a vaccine injury, so I guess I got real sparked up, and
Right.
it was a really hard time being heard because people would just put you as you're just a anti-vaxxer or something. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going for it, and I just went hard, and I ended up having 3,000 followers, I felt like, overnight, because I realized a lot of people weren't just coming from their heart, they were living in fear. And I mean, I don't really want to go down the anti-vaxxer because it's so
Yeah.
much more than that now. And it's not really about that. I have best friends that are vaccinated, unvaccinated. We've been together through the whole thing, and we just held ground for each other and let each other decide that. But in saying that, it gave me back a political voice that I lost from my years of saving forests. So I felt like, oh, this is that woman I'd buried as a mother to conform for my children who decide to go to, local private schools. They sort of, mum, oh, stop the hippie stuff because we don't really
Yeah.
want the feather medicine woman
Yeah,
following us around. And I was like, okay, rejected. So I
I get
buried
it.
that.
So you yeah, and
Yeah,
it
I
gave you that
buried it
chance to
all.
be you again. Yeah. Sorry.
No,
It's a
no,
delay thing. It's like we're interrupting, but it's a delay thing. But anyway, carry on.
well, and
So you've
because I'd
always
done
been an activist.
Steiner, I did
Yeah.
Steiner education, and I'd always been my other son had a 6-month injury. So we'd always been a bit
Mm.
conscious of making decisions that were right for us. And we had a very, like my grandmother, she was very Irish descent and kept our land of the Fae and really educated us about herbology and taught us about the natural medicine. So it's always been our
Mm.
fabric in our family. So it's not something new to
Yeah.
suddenly just come out and, hey, I'm out of the cupboard. It's just a way of life. It's a way we've always been. It's our ancestry to know natural medicines. It comes from our bloodlines. So for people to,
Oh,
there's a division occurring, and it's like what probably happened in the Great Reset with the Amish. They probably decided we don't want to go that way, so then we've now got another reset coming, and there's a whole group of us that are like, well, we don't really want to go that way, but we don't want to be Amish. So we're almost the next reset that want to hold back. So it's an
I think
interesting time.
there's definitely can feel a divide, and that's really interesting that it's just a natural thing. Yeah, I mean, I've always been just interested in natural things myself, and I don't consider myself an anti-vax. Well, probably am actually,
Well,
because
you
I've
said
never done
before,
I've never done it. I've never been vaccinated. It was a passed on thing anyway. So I've always
mm,
been very interested in looking into things, what's
mm,
in something and why we if I've got a problem, I'll look at a natural route as long as I know what
yeah,
it is before
100%,
going the other way. Yeah. Um,
100%. And it's been, this whole journey has come so much further than that. We've had the Gaza, and we've had the division of countries and how it's affecting us. And we've watched people rising up for Palestine. And I'm not opposed to any of that. But there's all these hidden agendas and legislations. And I'm a great researcher. My dad's a meteorologist, scientist. So
well,
we were just taught to study. You
yeah,
study before you open your mouth, or they will come for you at the dinner table. You know what I mean? We had a large family. So you have to know what you're talking about, or you're just going to get toppled over. So
yeah. I
it's been
think, I mean,
amazing holding women. Like we have a group in
yeah.
on a Wednesday night, and we've held everyone together, and we've watched what's inflamed someone hasn't inflamed me, and we've had to hold space for them, and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, because they're Jewish and they feel hurt, they're sad, they're sad what's going on, realizations. And it's just been massive, and we've been really mature. We've been really like, we're not going to fall into the media politics, and that's
Well, the
all it
media
is.
wants the whole plan, if you believe that there's a plan, is to separate us and make us fight each other and chaos and cause all of that. I mean, I'm Jewish and I have a Muslim name, so, get fucked.
Well, that's what I mean, the
My
oxymoron of
parents
it
became
all.
Muslims when I was a kid, like, but I'm nothing. I don't yeah, I'm
That's
non-religious.
so funny. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah,
But this is like, okay, so for me, as you said, she sort of stood back. Well, I was standing back, but then I'm really good friends with the elders from Camp Sovereign. So it's been quite a heavy journey for me in the last 3, 4 weeks. And
yeah,
my partner, his auntie's Yorta Yorta elder. So
mm,
it's been hard for us to hear this very, I call it a redneck extremism based on it's a nationalist point of view. And the word,
mhm,
ironically, redneck comes from the Irish slaves in Africa and being worked to the bone, where they were dying in fields because they just didn't. So they brought the
oh,
slaves down to a cooler area, which was Australia. And So it's a perfect
Gosh,
terminology.
never heard that before. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
so redneck is the Irish slaves, and they couldn't keep up with the fields out in Africa, so they brought them down to a cooler climate, which was Australia, and set up their slaveries here. So we're all actually, I'm not opposed to nationalism, but I'm opposed to racism. And people
Racism
need,
and extremism and fascism, obviously, in its real nature,
yeah, it's not
not because you have an
necessary,
opinion. Yeah,
because if
but
we go that way, Australia's in trouble. I mean, I don't think there's not one immigrant not here. So we have to be
exactly.
really careful in how we align now and not look like we're uneducated. And we need to know our history. We need to know our ancestries. We need to honour our ancestry. And a lot of people don't even know they're Irish or Scottish
Oh,
or,
if I was Irish, I'd know. I'd love to be have Irish background because then I could have the European part. I've got just English and I think Scottish. But anyway, that is a huge subject, obviously. But I don't want to keep. I don't want to so much get into that because that becomes,
yeah,
the
tackle
all the
lands.
yeah.
But
What I'm
it's a
really
beautiful,
interested in how we the energy of women and how so you're already doing it. You're having these gatherings with people and it's well, just women, right?
no, it's actually men as well, which has been
Okay.
like we were originally another group, but we've now decided to, as a collective that have stuck around, to become the Royal Tribal Health Ministry. And
Mhm.
we're collating all thoughts in one and not judging each other and being able to be clever and have emotional intelligence, which I think is lacking a lot when we get so upset and wound up. So we're really holding counsel for each other and their beliefs, and we don't all agree, and we just learn to go, wow, I've never looked at it from that
Yeah,
perspective
actually
before.
listening rather than
Yeah,
reacting. Yeah,
deep
yeah.
deep listening. It's a very important process to just
Mm,
stop your head with your opinion and fall back and hear and pretend you're that person and pretend you've
yeah.
had their life, and then your empathy can grow from having that. Like there's some people I've just been shocked at what they're saying, but then I've understood it because I've stopped my ego and went, okay, well, that's just how they feel. That's passion is beautiful. Let's hold that
Oh,
passion and not judge each other.
whether it's, whatever kind of passion. Obviously, like you said, your son was injured, so that
Mm,
made you a warrior woman mother or, what do you call it?
yeah.
Get out there and I don't see anything wrong with that, and I know a lot
What?
of people that watched you in the big well, probably still watch you. I don't think you post so much on Instagram the way you were,
No.
but, you were pretty, fair enough, pretty out there. How is your son? How's he?
Well, he's all right. He was rushed to hospital. But he seems to be okay. We monitor him. He won't go and have the big, heavy tests because he doesn't want to know. He just said, but in saying that, his best friend just recently had a heart attack. So that was pretty shocking for him.
How old is
He
he?
was
How old is
very
your son?
scared and just sort of went, Mom, like, this
He
is
must be
happening.
young, yeah?
Yeah. So as much as we're going through this trauma stage, I believe I have really beautiful relationships now, like really deep ones that I probably missed before COVID. I was a bit of a loner. And now I'm finding that I'm not so much a loner. There's so many of us little cool chicky babes and cool guys that are really deep and meaningful humans. And I feel enriched from the experience. I'm
Oh,
not,
100 I absolutely agree. I have you can never have too many friends, I think, but
that's right.
I have accumulated so many beautiful, especially women, but,
Mm,
you're in Melbourne as well, aren't you? Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't come across so many men just I don't know why in Melbourne. Um, I
I
did
think
go
we're,
to
yeah. I
yeah,
agree with you. I think for men, it's been a real hit. A lot of men I know had to give up their moral compass for standing up and saying, oh, I'm going to go out and do these things and protecting the women. So I've seen lots of men really step up in a silent way. And that's
yeah.
been beautiful to watch and probably go against their belief systems just to keep the money coming in and just being like, wow, what a guy. Like, that's big, and yet some people call that weak, but for me, it's like, well, they do what they do and they know what they know, and I don't know, we're really lucky in our group. We got a good bunch of men that have stuck around us women and really
Mm.
let us speak powerfully, and that's been nice too. I've done a lot of work with elders and like sort of went away to the mystery camp, and there were some amazing men there. I was just like, oh, we cried as women
Okay.
having men so touching and beautiful. So yeah, it's nice to
I'd
see
love to
men
get them
are
on the show. I mean, that's
yeah,
obviously it's just Earthworm Woman's a name, but it can be everyone,
yes.
because it's really good to hear from the other side. Well, it's not side, but this is I'm speaking to most women on here, and for myself, I
Mm,
suppose the last 3-ish years, I've been on my own, and that's just been a very powerful thing and a very positive thing
mm,
for me to build. And I just have been meeting a lot of women in the same boat, and not all of them are on
mm,
their own, but we all very much are there for each other. So, and I
yeah.
never used to be much. I think, especially when my kids were younger, I was more just like I leave them at school and go and do some work, whatever. Just always didn't even go and do coffee catch ups and things. I was always thinking of down the track, but it's really important to nurture that connection.
Mm,
And maybe it's just this time specifically, you know?
yeah.
So
See, I was single a lot raising my kids because I was such a hippie weirdo. I sort of didn't want anyone in there. I was like, I loved it. We had this whole land of the fae and we were all fairies and we
yes.
just lived our own world. It was like, don't come in and ruin our world. We're fairies.
Yeah.
And my kids are like my son still to this day, if we have arguments, he goes, so he knows how to break me. He goes, I do, I do believe in fairies, and we'll just stop fighting. And it's like he knows my weak spots,
Yeah.
But it's yeah, I feel like I'm coming to a great place, whereas I can feel around me everyone's really scared, but I feel like my we have a sacred temple, and we need to know when that's a time to go inside. And it's really
Yeah.
interesting. The ministry is almost all of us creating our own sacred temple and then standing together under our
Mhm.
own governance. That's the aim
Yeah.
to
So you're
push,
just
push,
uniting,
push.
but the basis is your that's the thing. We have to be in our own all the hippie words, truth, space, whatever, all those yeah, we do. That seems to be more than ever, but if you can then connect as being the true you, that's even more powerful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been fascinating, especially the last few weeks. Just like you said, I'm watching more and I'm learning. Oh wow, like this person, like I see anger now as just pain and sadness. So when
yeah,
I just sort of go, oh, I wish I could help, but I can't get through the gates of anger. I have to sort of let them calm, and then I'll go back and pick it up.
connect. Yeah.
Mm.
So when you say anger, are you talking about, like, people who are out there on the streets, like, protesting
Yeah,
or
and
yeah.
just fear, and lots of people really angry at being forced in towards a digital ID and things that they don't even know how to do digital. So they're all like,
I see a
especially
lot of people I think I think that the majority of people will go, "Nah, this is too much." And like, you see a lot of maybe there's the algorithms as well, you see what you kind of interested in, but
mm,
I see a lot of, people going, "But, we believed they said that we were just gonna do the 2 weeks, and then it became the this, so we know now they're saying it's just for this, just for the under
yeah,
16-year-olds, but it'll be that." Good morning,
yeah.
Grand Rising,
It's an,
Madalena.
it's a really clever way to do it, because I did Steiner education when my boys hit year 7 and they had to have iPads at this private school. I was like, oh my god, the freedom of what they could do to their own minds, which is an oxymoron because that's what
Mm.
Steiner is all about. But it's
Yep.
an adult impressions coming in on them, like porn and stuff. It was my biggest. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is horrific. What could happen to young minds if they're too so? There's a part of me that really likes that there's some form of, we can now, because I found a lot of parents lose control of their kids' addictions with iPads and playing games. And so it's a
Well,
really
you've got
clever way
younger
to,
kids, obviously,
yeah, and
yeah?
it's a really clever way to
Mhm.
force something we're not really ready for. And it's very manipulative, and it's
Mm,
quite, yeah, you
absolutely.
just hope enough people are realizing there's a deeper agenda here, because
Yeah.
most people I know who are still not really wanting to look at it from any other point of view than a newspaper, they don't really see it. They're sort of like,
Yep.
what? Why would you think that? And I'm like,
Yeah,
well, we
exactly.
all have
Yeah.
to prove our age. And they go, oh, they haven't even got that um critical mindset. They're just
No.
busy running, dropping kids off, trying to pay the bills. Da da da. What? We all have to do it. What are you talking about? Oh, well, I'll talk to you on Wednesday when I get a moment.
Yes,
They're too
exactly. Yeah,
busy.
you're absolutely right. So your kids did go to Steiner for a period of time, and now they're in normal school, is that right?
Well, they're all finished now, thank God. That
Oh,
was
okay.
ruined the 9 to 5 clockwork orange thing. Just did my head in because we were always just be free. But
Mm.
yeah, so they've all finished now. So I feel like, the pressure of society is sort of off us now, and I'm
Yeah.
noticing they're all climbing back into my ways of living because it was so much fun, and they're not having so
Okay.
much fun out there that they're like, oh mom, can we just like have a big fire, and can we just, all this stuff that we really soulfully
Mm.
miss. They're all
So how
coming
many
home.
years did they go to normal school? Was it just the high school years then?
They all chose at year 7. I gave them that
Mm.
adult reign, and they all chose public. So I
Yeah.
was a bit like bummed out, but yeah, so they could choose whatever school they wanted to. It was interesting watching my 2 middle boys wanted a strict Catholic boys' school. I was like, "Huh?" That hurt
Must have
because
been
my
someone there.
grandmother
Hi,
was,
John. It must have been
yeah,
people there they knew perhaps, or yeah,
well,
look.
it was just it's an elite school in the area for sport, and my kids are real into sport, so they just chose
Uh-huh.
based on that. So,
So,
and
you know Ali Silver? Is it Ali
yes.
Silver? She's coming to do fire with you and the family. Well,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
cute.
with that I think like, I've got a 23-year-old son, and I try not to push. I've got 2 kids, but we, try not to push too much onto them, but now I'm noticing he's coming with stuff now, which is really
Yeah,
nice, hearing him question this and that, and, I do send him stuff occasionally, but I don't, the whole reason I stayed in Melbourne was I didn't want, to push too much, of the whole cafe lockdown stuff on them.
yeah.
So,
Well, that was interesting. I was living on North Stradbroke Island at the time when COVID hit. I'd
mm,
actually
mm,
moved away from the kids. I was like, see you later. Mum's going on her journey. And I would hang out with, custodians, and I was doing my tribal hippie love it on Straddy. But
mm.
soon as COVID hit, they all called for me. They were like, Mum, this is serious. So I flew into lockdown and stood the fort with my kids. So I had all this freedom, and all of my mates on Stratty were like, what are you doing? And I said,
Wow.
I
What?
have to protect my kids, like their
Yeah.
mental health. Like there were so many suicides for my kids' friends at the time and my best friend, one of my closest friends, both 2 sons committed suicide. So I had to come home. It was,
Serious. So can I ask a bit more about that? How old were they at that point?
how old were my kids or
Well, how old were the kids that took their lives?
they were the same age as my kids. So
Yeah.
one was 16, and then the other, I think 19. So,
Oh my goodness.
and my
Yeah.
best friend's son, my son's close friend, the night that they were all allowed out if you'd been vaccinated. He wasn't, and he committed suicide that night. So the boys were all excited to go out. You know, my son said, "Mum, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a lab rat." That's what he just chose. And I was crying by a gum tree because I was, we don't know the long term. And, you know, and they were like, "I thought you said it's freedom of choice." I'm like, "Yeah, to everyone else but you."
Oh my god.
It
Oh
was
my
horrific.
god.
And that
So
was the
you
one
had
who ended up with the vaccine injury. So I ended up pacing up and down for 4 days outside of Frankston Hospital, not allowed in, not knowing if he was breathing. He went blue. You know, it was horrific. And then he then had to deal with his friend committing suicide. And so this big, yay, we're all out, turned into the most horrific 3, 4 weeks. Yeah, it was just like, I've been,
that is absolute horror film.
yeah, it's
I
a
mean,
horror film.
I've been doing this play, I don't know if you know, for a long time called Maroon, which is around suicide. So that was been going since 2016 when a
Mm,
48-year-old actor friend of ours took his life. And it's been,
mm,
everywhere it went, people said, "You need to bring this play everywhere. You need to bring this play everywhere." And in the last couple of years, I've got it back up. I'm actually taking it to the farmers at the end of the year, but before
oh,
that,
wow.
I'm making it into a film because
Wow.
that way I can take it further. Because look what you've just said, there's a whole new load of people who are now in the suicide, because it used to be, dentists, psychiatrists, doctors, um, men specifically, blah blah blah.
Mm,
There's categories which are really high levels, and now we had have all the repercussions of this dumb period where people were were forced to actually, you know, go against their parents sometimes, go
yeah.
against their guts, just to
Yep.
fit in or to keep
Yep.
quiet.
Yeah. It
Um,
was sad. Almost lost my relationship with my father over it because,
wow. Yeah.
he kept hitting me with the science, with the emotional articles that he taught me to analyze and always reject. So I found it bizarre as he was getting older, he was more relating to emotional articles where I go, "Dad, there's no stats in this, buddy." Like, and we
No, the
fight.
stats are coming out now. The stats are coming out right
Well, that's what we
now.
were all waiting for, right? We
Ah,
wanted to know, is this a safe method for us moving through this COVID mystery, And we weren't nasty people or deflecting that medicine is wrong. We just needed that space, that time to collect and understand what we're doing here. Like, I'm
yeah,
against GMO food. How could I put
yeah,
that in my body? You know,
absolutely,
I was like,
absolutely.
Monsanto is my enemy, and now I'm meant to trust a pharmaceutical company. And
And E
it didn't
numbers
matter what
and
I did
everything.
with Dad. He was just like, "Mah," and it was like, and
Well,
I would to him, it was like, "Mah." So
but
they
also just
finally rocked up
remember,
at my birthday, and
just
I hadn't
yeah.
seen them for 2.5 years, and they surprised me, and I was almost angry, but I swallowed it for my children. And then he offered us a beer that was a raspberry beer at this restaurant, and he said, "Oh, everyone try it and tell me if you like." I said, "Aren't you scared that we're all unvaccinated?"
Who was that?
He was,
Sorry, who turned up?
sorry?
Who who turned up?
My dad, who'd always
Oh,
said, "We're germ
yeah.
carriers, we can't come to Christmas, we can't do this, you're going to
Oh,
spread your germs." And then, first time I saw him, he's asking us all to sip a beer to see whether we liked it. So I sort of
yeah.
did "Oh, yeah."
Wow, the hypocrisy.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
I just want to
that's
read
very,
this comment out here by Eve. My son was hearing voices and seeing gremlins telling him to kill himself. He
oh
nearly
my
did
goodness.
in Melbourne 2021, almost immediately after a Reiki session there. What stopped it was having a Christian deliverance and embracing Jesus. He was 28. Well,
Wow.
I hate to say it, but I bet your son was not the first. Or well, obviously we've just heard from your family, your friends, but there must be so many young people that were struggling with all
Mm,
my friends are going this way, and now I have to be the weirdo, and the government made it really clear that they were
Yeah.
the weirdos by actually excluding them from everything.
Well,
Um,
it was interesting, just they felt like that, whatever decision they made anyway, to be that isolated for so long. Like, I think
yeah,
about my friend Mon, and she lost two of her boys, and that was huge for us. It was like all us women were just like, how do you hold it? And her next son decided to end his life a year later after the anniversary of the first
sorry, she
one's
lost all
suicide.
3 of her sons to
Just
suicide?
two. She's got four, but she lost two. And I shouldn't say just, because it wasn't
Yeah,
just. It's a
no.
huge, it's a pain that we'll
Oh,
carry for that whole time. And just to watch her, she's the most amazing mother, but you're not fighting. It's not your motherhood anymore. It's now what's been restricted to our society that affected these kids. And I've watched mental health, especially young women, young girls, really cutting themselves, really
mhm.
calorie counting. It was an obsession, this
Yeah,
TikTok
yeah, 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 yeah.
calorie counting that
Well, so
happened. And
anorexia went up 100% during the
yeah,
lockdown,
it
and
was,
I know about that, but my brother shot himself because he was in such pain and suffering from the vaccine, and the doctors would not or could not help or recognize the injuries from the injection.
oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. That's just so full on. Like,
I didn't know this discussion was gonna go here, but the
well, I
thing
didn't
is
either.
we need to talk about it. No, 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 we need this is absolutely imperative that it gets out because we're the mothers, and we
Yeah,
have some of us,
I was,
obviously not all of us are mothers here, but we've had to I had to hold I had to do a balancing act always, I felt, and just hang on there, kids, just hang in because it will
yeah,
break. They will stop it at some point,
yeah.
but, they had to go back to school, and there was all the secrets and, just going back to some of these comments,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's so many people like us, like just hearing that is just devastating. It makes me want to cry for her. Like,
oh, absolutely,
there's
I'm
so,
so sorry.
and it's something we haven't really gotten over. We just still hold in our hearts and keep it sacred. But we're sort of getting to that point now where we need to get this out of our bodies and hold space for each other. No matter what your decisions were, that doesn't define us. That defines we as a society have gone through a really hard time in Melbourne, flying from Queensland to. I had neighbours going, "You've already been for your hour walk today," and I'd be like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Oh
well, would
my
you like to?
god.
Yeah, like, it was horrific. Like, I was shocked, like, Stradbroke's freedom, man. We were like, "Hang on, what?" But I live in Carrum, so I'm quite lucky. We go straight to the beach, and we
Mm.
that was our sanctuary down there. People were always down there, and when the cops came, we all separated and just went, like little robots. It was
Mm.
like a classic win for us down here. Lots of people moved this way because
Yeah, well, I wasn't living on the beach then, but, the streets were bare. The streets were bare at certain
yeah,
times of day. But,
sad.
if people would even look at things like what you just said then, the cops came to the beach, the
Yeah, it
fresh
was
air
crazy.
of the beach to see.
Well, they knew that's what we were all doing. We'd all piled down there at sunset
Mm.
with our kids, and I think they heard what was going down. And that's sort of why the next door neighbor's like, "You've already done your hour walk." I'm like, "Oh, well, you should come with us. There's lots of people down there that aren't touching each other. We're just around each other holding space." And she'd be like, "I'm going to report you." I'd be like, "Okay, well, you know where I live." And I'd just keep going. And it was
Someone just
fascinating to
asked.
watch the Mrs. Mangles of our society that
Yeah, or they called
doing
them
the right
Karens
thing
in those
in
days,
their
didn't they?
narrative. They were doing the right thing. So
Mm.
you watch
Well,
dementia take
they're the
off
ones
in
that
the
said
elderly.
we're doing it for someone else, we're doing it for the parents or the grandparents, whatever. But, someone asked about Eve's son, and she said he's doing really well emotionally. He has atrial fibrillation, how you say that? From steroid use in his early 20s. My God.
Whoa.
Um, it's good that he's here, but it's horrendous. These children are damaged, you know.
Mm.
Um, apparently I'm taking it because of other things, but the augmented NAC is supposed to get rid of 90 something percent of the spike proteins.
Yeah.
I'm doing it to see if I can get my smell back because I lost my sort of real sense of smell after I had the illness.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
and
you that's
which was
amazing.
2020 probably 2.
Wow. See, it's
Yeah.
fascinating because there's that debate whether COVID's real or not. And
I know, I
I
know.
was really sick when I got COVID, but I was really lucky. I went on that NEAM program and they delivered all the medicines at the door. And,
Mm.
we had scientists telling us to keep our blood higher than 90. And
Ah,
that was amazing to have that because it sort of smashed COVID as soon as you took hydroxychloroquine. I always struggle with that word.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It
Okay, so it
just
was a
shrunk.
healthy thing. Yeah.
It just went away
This
like overnight.
Wow. No, I mean, I got it. The cough was weird, but that was about it. And I remember feeling that the pressure on your bones for a while. But the
Mm.
thing is, my sense of smell. I have a sense of smell, but it's not very good. And I used to have an amazing sense of smell. Has been damaged ever since.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
So
that.
this man here got kicked out of his house for 7 months by his wife and wasn't allowed to see his kids, as I did not want to get my kids jabbed. Have 2 pure blood kids, police enforced it and had to see psychiatrists and psychologists who wore masks to
Oh,
ascertain I am not a oh my god.
that's horrific.
So I think it's a little bit reversed. Kicked out for 7 months. The
Wow.
stories of insanity, what people put up with and what
Yeah, it's really.
people would go back and actually look at hopefully they will, hopefully, it won't be too late. Yes, okay, you're talking about full Denise, it's Denise. Denise, I actually was gonna do a little ad for you anyway. Here, I'm gonna do a proper ad, but I have some products from Denise Spa. They are the full spectrum, CBD oil, and I'm on this
Nice.
one here. I take this every morning and night, which is the whole hemp oil. This is a deodorant. This is just a sample. So if you want to use absolutely exquisitely good hemp oil, go to hempflower.com.au. She's a sponsor. No, she's not a sponsor. She's a partner. She's a collaborator of Earthworm Woman, and I'm love to support people who are supporting us. And this is what Earthworm Woman's about: making a community. And if more businesses want to connect, I promote you, and you slightly help me keep going because I want to keep expanding on this. At the moment, I'm a bit like I think it's really important that I do the maroon stuff and all of that. But I will keep this going. But anyway, so hempflower.com.au. Um, so here's a comment. I believe it's all the chemical concoctions they are dispersing air, water, food, clothing, everything
Mm.
contaminated, affecting everyone. Yeah, but at the beginning, there was obviously something else released, which people were catching.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I got COVID around the same time I think Michael got it, which was quite early in the piece when, and I was shocked
w-
because I thought COVID was I thought it was a conspiracy. I just
mm,
fully was a bit, I'd done all the, getting myself ready in case I did get it because I wasn't
mhm,
sure. I never
yeah,
like to say I like to always have an open mind. And whoa, I was so sick and I never get the flu. I never get
mm,
anything. And it felt like the best description I can say, it felt like the devil was climbing up my legs at 3 a.m. in the morning. It was
ah,
so painful. It was reverse. I didn't get migraines or the normal flu. People say it was radiation and stuff like that. I actually have a naturopath who used to be the top radiologist of Melbourne. and
Mm.
she's based down this way in Peninsula. And she was like, no, no, it's definitely contagious, whatever it is. She's treating people with, she said
That
that
was
had
very
nothing.
interesting. So what you're describing there sounds a little bit like what I felt, but when Michael did get it, none of us got it.
Yeah. Well, I
And there was
remember meeting Michael at the Parliament steps, and then he said, oh, I've had COVID. And then three of us came into the city for one particular protest, and
yeah,
the three of us went home sick, and we ended up giving it to people in our family as well. So
yeah,
radiation can't be caught like that. It doesn't
yeah.
actually go through the bodies. I mean, some people say it does, but talking to this
Keep away from
radiologist,
people who've had it.
I
Yeah,
asked her, I
yeah.
said, look, is it possible I've passed radiation on? And they just went, she said,
Oh,
no, can't possibly be that. And we all come from three different areas. And my other girlfriend, she gave it to her 80-year-old mother, and they were unvaccinated, but she's had a
mm,
Chinese medicine specialist, and they killed it in 2 days. We were sick for 10 to 14. I wasn't that sick because I had the medicines, but my other girlfriend,
yeah.
she ended up breaking out in hives and had like full outbreak on her body, and
Wow.
it was crazy. We all had very different symptoms. So
I think
yeah,
so. I don't whether there was
the
different
big
varieties
debate.
or whatever, but I think there's a lot of these weirdo things out there still, which is,
Mm.
they're dropping them from whatever. I just had a comment here from a James. I'm just trying to find it again. Um, oh, highly recommend Chinese. Yeah. Um, what was I going to say? I can't remember. So I'll just try and find this man's thing. 2 out of your 3 children have had, well, this is the same one who lost her brother, at least 2 jabs. It's hard as a mum to watch them and wonder if they will have damage or illness. Yeah. Well, I know someone that did cupping on her kids straight away because she knew the
Mm.
kids were gonna go and do it. Um, uh, Despite the fact that there were so many disgusting things, I think that is one of the hardest, that the government actually set your kids off against you. Here's the
Yeah,
comment. Um,
yeah, that was
I'll never
horrific.
forget the mother of my kids picking them up from me to find out 3 days later she got them.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
god, she got them vaccinated and then made my 13-year-old daughter sign her own forms. Never had I felt such emotions take over my body. Jason, that's just horrendous. It's just what we're talking about, mother, father, whatever. Yours was that way. Um
Yeah,
And the fact that you couldn't have a say, have a 13-year-old, and that was the horrendous thing. The government were basically saying, I can't remember the age, that kids were allowed to go and do it by themselves. They didn't have to ask their parents.
yeah, it was horrific. And I mean, I think that's actually my partner, if I can see
Oh,
that close. So he,
Jason. Jason
Jason
DeSanto.
DeSanto, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't actually see, but I went, oh, gee, that
So
sounds similar.
obviously Jess is not the mother of your kids, Jason.
Well,
Yeah.
that's how we sort of got together. We both,
Yeah. Yeah.
our sons are best friends in football, and we were like the only two parents that sort of went, no, 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 because our
Mm.
boys couldn't play footy otherwise. And my son took the bullet. He just said, no, I'm not taking it. I'm not doing it. He got bullied so badly at school, he left school. He actually had his PE teacher attack him every day at lunchtime. He had his homeroom teacher telling him he's going to fail year 12.
Oh my
And he got
god.
to the point where he just said, Mum, I can't go to school anymore. This is too much. And he left, and it,
Mm.
ruined his education, but it made him a really strong human. He got bullied, and well, he didn't get bullied. That's not really what happened. He just felt like they were trying to get
Oh,
him to have it, you know.
right. Okay. So
But this
because
is big for
because they were
mothers. Like,
scared or because they thought he needed to be a part of the gang,
well,
you
they
know?
just thought he was your mum's a hippie weirdo, you know. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
generally the riffraff. And I'm more of a scientist, to be honest. I'm a bit of a
Yeah.
nerd. So I'm like, ooh, I don't like the science happening over in. I was watching the vaccines as it was unfolding in England. I think a lot of us were, and you could see in their medical records, they have great hospital records, and it was all the triple and quadruple jab that were going into hospitals. And I was like,
Mm.
this doesn't make sense. Like, this means it's not working. Like, why is our government ignoring those facts and then
Mm.
pushing it on us? And all I wanted was science. I would
Yeah,
have easily had it if the
absolutely,
science
because
was there.
we were fed all the rubbish, and the other thing, obviously, that we know, they brought all those other drugs in. They run, as the doctors call it, run death is near, and another one, and intubation and all of that. So they actually caused the deaths, and they were calling
Yeah.
everybody who was even in the COVID era that they all died of COVID. So
A
I,
lot of my
I
girlfriends that are nurses just were like, Jess, whatever happens, don't let them take me to hospital. I don't,
yeah,
they'll go for me first because I'm a nurse and I know about, and I was like, oh, wow,
wow,
like this is
yeah,
serious. Like, you're being serious. You go, you need to be like very vocal to my family if I go down. And I was like, okay, like, all right. Not sure how that'll
mm.
go, but
Well, that's right. Imagine we were terrified of entering a hospital. Hi,
yeah,
doggy in the background. Um, there's a product here, Spike Detox, yes, but there's many things, as I said as well. Uh, I'm I haven't taken the vaccine, so I don't know, but I mean, I'm sure we've got spike shit coming in from other places,
mm,
but I'm
mm,
taking the 3 months of NAC augmented anyway.
mm.
And I'm taking this.
I'm more of a gut person at the moment. Like, I'm going through my whole digestive system,
Mm,
and going through my, because they notice that it affect the biome in your tummy. So
mm,
realistically, a lot of our foods that we eat, that's what happens. We're not eating enough foods that feed the right bacteria. So we're going to get sick if we don't address those issues. So,
mm.
yeah, it's been really interesting to, we're really naturopathic in our group at the ministry. And people are very scared of these new rules coming in that they're going to try and get rid of, homeopathy and naturopathy. But that's our sort of birthright to have those options.
It's
So,
absolutely. So just
and
tell me
that's,
about the gut stuff. Are you talking about having a good, making sure that your gut is healthy? Because I had Dr. Darrell Wolf on here recently, and he's all about your large intestine. If
yeah.
that's where all your crap comes,
Well,
well,
I sort of
literally.
started having, I was going to say early, but I'm actually turning 50. I'm just in denial how old I
What?
am. Yeah. So I'm like,
Mm,
I'm
that's
actually
amazing.
honored to age. I'm looking forward to aging. It's been a mission to
Can't
age
stop
because
it.
but I'm loving that I'm going through a menopause. Like, I'm bleeding every 2 weeks. Sorry, anyone who doesn't like
No,
the truth, and it's
it's
been quite draining and taxing. And it's given me so much more respect for women that are older than myself that have
mm,
gone through this process. It's not. It's full on. It's like your whole world just goes whoa, and you're like a whaler from Ireland, And
different for everyone, of course. It's different because
I've
I mean,
had
with
yeah.
premenstrual, it's pretty. These are the symptoms you get, like,
Yeah,
but
well,
with
that's where I'm at.
menopause.
I'm at that premenstrual, sorry. So I'm
Oh,
like all
you
over the
mean
shop.
perimenopause, you'd mean
Peri,
perimenopause,
pre,
whatever.
whatever is going on, it's
Some people
happening.
don't
And
get much. Some people get the full-on hot flushes, some people get the absolute everything. Um,
yeah, well, I've had to look at my whole hormonal system. So I'm sort
mm,
of going through this. I'm calling it cronehood. I'm stepping into my cronehood where I'm allowing myself to take a step back. Just step back. Your body's asking you
yeah,
for the time, and it's time to. I've done a lot of out there, external, saying what I feel, fighting for what I believe in, and now it's time to just create my own governance and my own ministry and fall inside myself and forget what the world says, because
mm,
it's not about the external world. It's about our internal world and what reflects our families and our tribes and our clans because we all come from a clan or a tribe somewhere, and we need to honour what is our own inherited rights.
yep. There we go. She can bang on about it. You can bang on about it, Denise. Um, she says the whole hemp oil got me through menopause. Yeah, no hot
Oh,
flushes.
wow.
Sorts out the endocrine. Did you say endocrine system? No mood swings,
Yeah,
which is
nice. As I'm definitely, have my networks of crew that have definitely been suggesting oils and stuff. I sort of managed my life on oils for a while, and I took a step back and went, I need to just listen to the body, work out where I need to do the work. And now I'm on all these herbal teas and
mm,
tinctures, and I'm just loving me now, going, oh, okay, I can say no and come home, and now we know what's coming. We can work forward with our sacred strength, and every stage in our life is so sacred. I'm just really excited to get through this and see
mm.
myself at the other side. So I'm not
Well,
making it about
even
myself, but it's made me respect women. Like, wow,
yeah,
these women don't really talk about this stuff, and we
it's
need
part of
to.
the journey of our lives anyway. You can't avoid it. You can't say it's not going to happen. You know.
I did.
But yeah, no, it's interesting because age is something I hate the numbers. Don't go there, but I personally I never feel any different to when I was like in my 20s.
Yeah.
I just don't. I have the same energy. I just have the same well, probably not the same mentality, but I just try not to I think well, I mean, no, that's not true because I do feel much more in my power and in my who I am, know who I
Yes.
am. Um, but physically and all of that stuff, I just and I don't care if I'm stupid. I don't care if I'm still whatever, play around. That's part of who I am anyway. But I don't think I hate the whole, so this Earthworm Woman we used to do a thing called Raw Women years ago, and it was all about just embracing the ages and
Mhm.
aging or whatever it is,
I
and
think I
not
watched a lot of that.
defining them.
I
Yeah,
watched
not
you
defining.
doing a lot
Oh,
of that, and I couldn't relate, but now I'm, like, going back into those things, and they're the things that helped me, knowing, "Oh, well, there were women talking about this," and I don't, it's fascinating what the body. We're so fascinating, women. I really enjoy being a woman. I used to probably hate it as a young girl because I felt a bit over sexualized. I was tall, blonde,
yeah,
sporty. I
yeah,
really was frightened of men. And now that I
yeah,
feel like I'm older, I'm like, oh, cool. They're not trying to hit on me all the time. I can
yeah.
actually have relationships, and I know they're not got an agenda. I love it. I feel so much better that I'm like, okay, we're on equal
That's
playing
probably
fields
because
now.
you feel better in yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you just and it's all
I just
about that,
didn't
isn't it?
feel
It's about
I didn't feel safe in the world as a woman. I didn't
mm,
feel like I could wear skirts even, like, and I found that with my
yeah,
daughter, she going through the same thing, and just going, just be careful wearing that, and
yeah,
all of that
and
stuff.
sexualized because you're wearing a certain thing, even though you think, well, I have every right to. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm same. My daughter has spoken a bit like that as well.
It's just,
And
yes, learning what is gonna be more protective where, you might say, in your vulnerable wild years where you can pass out in the street or something scary, you sort of go, "Well, maybe wear something a little bit more, you know, flattering when you go to the pavement," if there's such a thing.
yeah, ridiculous. I'm just trying to think. Martin put a comment which everyone's talking about. I'm just trying to find it.
You find
Um,
a book.
oh yeah, yeah. It's about his 13-year-old daughter. So Martin's up in Sydney. I've still never met you in person. Protested to the school when made aware of the New South Wales Health Vax bus. Oh God, going to be
Mhm.
attending their school. She also shared Vax knowledge with students. Results: the bus was not allowed to operate on the school grounds, and only 24 students got the Gardasil 9 jabs out of 500. Wow, that's
Wow,
amazing. Good on your
that is
daughter.
amazing. Yeah, there was a
Um,
lot of that was a big one for us with Hannah. My sorry,
Mm,
she really didn't. We weren't aware. It was just when that was coming out for yeah, for 16-year-old girls, and I was just like, whoa, we don't know anything about this, and stepped away. And one of her friends ended up with a food allergy and hospitalized, so she can't eat wheat or egg now. Which you
mm,
think now you know a bit more about vaccines. That's how they incubate and put that into the vaccine. Food allergies can occur. So
yeah.
it was
Oh,
interesting
wow.
the pressure for her to have it then, and now her friends are showing signs. Like there are some signs that it may not have been the smartest move for some of her groups of friends. So yeah, it's interesting
Well, there was
world we
always
live in.
always kids that left that. I mean, mine didn't have it, but in wheelchairs on that day. They'd have to go home.
Mm,
Um, so Martin asked a question: Why do women wear skirts? Uh, well,
because it's
because
hot when it's
sometimes it's
summertime.
nice to actually have a variety, and I guess for since God knows when that's been a thing. Men can wear skirts as well. They wear kilts. They can wear skirts if they want. Um,
It's
but
definitely heat. It's you don't want to wear jeans, and you
yeah,
there's something very feminine about a skirt. You feel like there's a sense of beauty that comes with choosing the colors of skirts. Like my house burnt down, I lost all my skirts, so I went through a year where I didn't wear any skirt. So
oh my
that's
goodness.
what I missed the most was my kids' photos and skirts because it's an expression of yourself. And I had beautiful long
Mm,
silk skirts. They weren't little come and hello me skirts.
no, no,
But there's
exactly.
also that
It's
generation of young women wanting to show off a bit of leg and feel sexy. That's
look at
not
the
something we
60s.
should feel bad about either.
Look at the 60s with great boots and everything. It's looks fashion. I can't believe this woman Gail. Your you have your daughter has MS and a seizure disorder after her Gardasil. You've had
Ooh,
incredibly bad, um,
gosh.
I don't think the word's luck because I don't think you should be anywhere. Obviously, you don't go anywhere near vaccines, but my goodness, wear a kilt, James. Wear a kilt. Oh, here we go. Jennifer says women wear skirts so we can access magic bits easily when we are menstruating. Well,
I
that could
can't.
be one thing as well. Yeah, that could have been one thing.
Well, it's. My mum always said you need to air yourselves.
Eh,
That was a big thing. So, sometimes it's about being hot, and you like to think you're quite fresh. You don't want to be
mm,
all boxed in when it's 40-degree heat. It's like
absolutely.
so nice to put on a skirt. It's so freeing. It's like you're almost in your tribal space. Having like Steiner, one of their things is they believe that the earth magnetics go up the skirt. So they ask teachers to wear long skirts so they're getting source from Mother Earth. So
Mm,
there's tribal belief systems behind skirts as well, which I felt really was fascinating
wow.
when I learned about that.
Yeah. Who's Nancy
Mm.
Gibson? I've only had one cold in 5 years due to the natural protocol I use. I've told you about it, right? Product. Oops. I'm supposed to. Look, I talk to a lot of people. Yeah, I think I'm sure you have. Don't. I'm just playing around. We all have to do everything to correct any damage and anything, which is on a daily basis. I mean, look at this city we live in. I
Mm,
reckon we get bombarded with so much here.
I do too. Just even the other night, we watched the football because of the finals, and the ads were just so sexual, and I was shocked.
I
I was like, oh, because it's been so long. I guess I haven't been in it to not see it. So it was like, oh
mm,
my gosh, like this is horrific. It was all cars, sex, like you could see it all, and I was just like, and AI and all these things where they want your brain to start to go, they just put in the ads. It's very
very, very
interesting.
destructive. I mean, you're going back to the especially the girls or both during the whole COVID time when they all went online, and everything
Mm,
was just there, 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 and all of those anorexia went up by 100%, and all of the beginning of the, more, I'd say, of the, enhancing this and do this, and you can filter this, and you can look like that, and
yeah.
all that rubbish has been a whole
It's
other
like
area.
an age of perfectism. I see a lot of young girls having this perfect hair and perfect this, and so I deliberately try and be as ragamuffin as I can because I think it's a thing that young women need to go. Oh, she's not doing that. She's doing something different, and just
Yeah.
them feeling like, God, she's a bit of a nutter. I always like to wear outlandish clothes and it's
Well,
it's it's good for kids to see diversity, and I think as women, we are that chance for them to see it. We don't have to
yeah,
be these perfect housewives and these perfect lives and perfect
well, I'm not a
poisons and
housewife.
perfectly clean. It's like,
Um,
ooh,
I've always thought that was a little bit unfair, speaking of that, that we start to get, like, lines and things in our 40s, maybe around 40 it starts. Why can't it be, like, 75? We got supposedly all those other years. Why can't we just look for, all that time? But saying that, I have, it's mostly because 'cause I'm not very good at it, and I do have a little bit of lipstick on now, but I don't really get into makeup, and so
yeah,
I never wore makeup with my kids when they were young and all of that. So, um,
me too.
I I think, well, it's kind of good because otherwise when do you stop covering it up? When do you go, "Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna wear it now," and I just go, "Yeah, this is actually my face."
Self-love.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like turning this age at going into 50, I'm like a science experiment. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna wake up to. I was going, "God, look at that line." It's like it just comes to an age where you're like, "Oh, wow, I'm
No,
actually
it's
I'm
all in
enjoying
your
it."
mind because you come across as a very young person, so you'll stay as you're a young whatever,
Oh, I definitely feel like I'm still 16.
Yeah.
I'm still like I get a shock when I see my reflection. I go, "Oh, that's right. You're old. You're older.
You're not.
You're not who you think
No,
you
you're not.
are."
Let's make it pa 75 is starting to get old. How's that?
Alright, alright, sounds good.
'Cause I think we're all gonna be, as long as we keep shoving all this stuff into us, we're gonna be here for a long time. I'd like to be
Yes.
I like Darren Wolf's, philosophy. He wants to keep going, um, try turning 60. He wants to keep going for a long time as long as he's healthy, which he is. He's very healthy. And he's got all the key things which I talk about as well, like moving and all of the things that keep us young.
Mm,
Now we're coming to an endish. I just want to say I was looking to do an Earthworm Woman event, and I'm not going to do it now. When I said I was, so it's something in the pipeline. But when things sort of ideas come up, and it doesn't flow with fit work. This happened, then this happened, and we got a space. Blah 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 blah. I got a space, but I thought I've needed to bring somewhere some more central, and now that place is not really getting back to me, somewhere in St Kilda. So I think, okay, I'm just going to leave it because I've got these other really important things about suicide to do,
mm,
and maybe towards the end of the year, right at the end of the
yeah,
year, which is fine. We'll just keep building as a community, and I just wanted us to meet people to meet in person, and we
yeah,
will.
thank you.
I think we will at some point. I think a lot of us just will.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's good.
Eve. What I don't want to shame you, mate, but you don't have the cleavage. Who's he talking to? Oh, I think he's talking to a man, hopefully.
Well, we could
Um,
do. We could
an
spruce
older
them
woman
up
in a
if you
classic
like.
car, looks great, knows what it is, and right, yeah, okay. So, morning divine. So I'm going to thank you very much for coming on board, Jess. It's really
Thank
lovely
you
to
for
meet
having
you.
me.
Yeah,
It was a
talking, keep
pleasure.
talking, keep putting it out there. But I might actually be in touch with about your horrendous connection with the young people's suicide, because when I get this film made, and it's
Yeah.
going to be pretty basic. It's not like a massive feature film. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a feature film, but it's not going to be mega bucks and everything. And it will be made quite fast. I want to then set up events with it, so that
Yeah.
people, say it's young people come, because the
Yeah.
play has done incredibly well, uh, just to get people to talk, because there's humor in it. There's a young person in it, there's an older person. Um, it just it seems to really target a lot of different demographics, and we've had it in front of the Australian Army, and the chief of army came to see it. We took it up to him in Canberra, and the chief psychologist said it's a revolution in suicide prevention, because of the way it gets people offside and they're laughing, or the way it's delivered and the way it's written. So that is what I'm going to do in the next, and I'm doing it because I'm giving myself goals as well,
Mm.
like
It's a
the
big
end.
thing in Indigenous communities too. So
Oh, I know.
I would definitely help you get it into some of the areas I know would really gain from learning about that type of thing that they don't
Yeah.
like to talk about.
I've got a
So yeah,
friend, Kate, who works up in Alice Springs,
yeah,
and she's been talking about me bringing it up there, but the only problem is they have a different way of dealing with suicide, and so you'd have to make it very different, but
yeah,
doesn't mean it can't they can't see it. It does not mean that at all.
yeah.
Um, Stop talking about bums over here, plumbers' cracks and things. I'm talking about something very serious.
Maybe it's their way of diverging from the
Yes.
seriousness. They need softening.
So thank you so much, everyone, for watching today, and thank you, Jess. And
Thank
I'm going
you.
to end this with my ad for Madalena and her beautiful products, Intimate Duet. She's my other. Oh my goodness, my dog is snoring. She's my other supporter. Lovely to see you. Lovely to meet you.
All
And
right.
take care. Thanks so
Thanks,
much, everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
I am not just a product made to satisfy the pocket, nor do I require the same fame others seek. I desire your heart, the passions that make you a woman, any woman, every woman. My scents are a representation of purpose, courage, confidence. Each botanical ingredient a praise of thanksgiving and self-care. The way I feel upon your flesh, a comfort of nourishment, as I feed dehydrated and depleted layers of skin, bursting for a new life of regrowth and youthfulness. If I stir your soul with each application, let it be known that you, too, are an intimate duet woman.